Do you see that we're live?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bow Wow Bill live stream here on my Facebook page, X. And you guys, I had to pay for a premium to live stream this on X now. So make sure you're following me at Bow Wow Bill on X, and then on my YouTube channel, Bow Wow Bill. Thank you to all my followers. And let me do one of these real quick. I forgot about my intro sometimes.
That's
there
cool.
We go. Thank you. What is this background here? Background aren't visible in solo layout. Oh, so there's a background. Hold on one second. Look at that.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah. I wonder how I can, but whatever. I'm looking at all these little additions and stuff. If you guys like what I do here, consider following me on my Patreon page or supporting me on Patreon. There's some exclusive content on there. It's a great way to support me, help me buy some new equipment, and so I can travel and do these recordings in person with people. That's my goal. And I'm almost to the point where I can afford a new laptop, and I'm buying some new audio equipment and some cameras, all that good stuff. And I have Laura with me. I'll put up a link to my Patreon in the comments down below. And Laura Loynab?
Loynab. Yeah.
Loynab.
Yeah.
Loynab. All right. Nice
yes.
to.
It's actually Afghan. It's just my husband's last name.
Okay.
It's really weird to see me with that last name. When people ask me, they're like, "Are you Afghan?" I'm like, no, that's my husband.
Does he speak? Oh, look we got people already here. Heather Lowell.
Oh, hi.
And
my
while
favorite.
Yeah, isn't she great? One thing that we're going to be doing is Heather and I are going to be hosting a NePoPo Gold School here in August 12th through the 17th here on my property. We still have some spots available. It is a prerequisite that you do go through the NePoPo Silver School first before you attend our Gold School, but I would like to invite you. We are doing more of a pet-focused and behavior modification aspect of our Gold School. That's what we specialize in. So consider joining us. Get a hold of either me or Heather if you are interested. And then we have Heather's mom, Lori.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama. I was the first to sign her card. Strategic Canine Training says, hey.
Yeah. That's a friend. That's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. So, Laura.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Actually, a little bit hot. I'm in my patio and it's humid, warm, but I can't complain. I bet it's nice in San Diego, nicer than in any other parts of the U.S. right now.
Yes, it's. I'm up here in Seattle, Washington. It's about 70 degrees here today. It's beautiful. I have a dog. I have a couple dogs, actually. Come here. I have a dog that just joined me right down here. This isn't my dog, but she's in here. Her name's Marley.
Oh.
And I work with her. She's a little Labradoodle. They're super popular. We have Kashi from India, but Kashi is in America right now. He's in Georgia.
Hi, Kashi.
Hi, Kashi.
My friend. He's in Georgia. Oh, yeah, he's in Atlanta. Yeah, he's famous.
Yeah. Yes,
I didn't even know how famous Kashi was until I texted my husband that I met him. I was like, I just met this really cool guy during the Silver School. He's like, really? What's his name? I was like, he's from India. It's like, what's his name? It's like, wait, is that Canine of Kashi? I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, he's really famous. I was like, oh. Yeah, we got along really well. Kashi is cool.
I wish I was there, man. I was sick. I got pneumonia, out of all things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was actually in Costa Rica. I was in Costa Rica.
Oh, what
and then
are the chances?
Yeah, well, I thought that I caught like the flu or something from the plane on the way back. And
what were you doing in Costa Rica?
I was just kicking it. No, I'll celebrate my 20th year anniversary with my beautiful wife, Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were up in in how come it's skipping my mind? It's up in the northwest there. What is it?
Tamarindo.
Tamarindo. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And right there on the beach with all the surfers and stuff. And
Nice.
I love it there, man. That's where I go. I'll be there in October again. And it just has a special place in my heart, man. The Pura Vida, right?
Yes, mine too. It has a special place in my heart as well.
That's where you're from, right? Costa Rica?
Yep, born and raised. I moved to the States when I was 29. So most of my life I live in Costa Rica. I love that country, man.
What brought you to America?
So I married my husband, but he's an athlete and he trains here in San Diego, California, which is the mecca of Jiu-Jitsu.
Really?
And I
Okay.
said, why not? I can also accomplish that dream of mine of getting my black belt from the top of the top, like the best guy in the world. And I decided to pursue that. And I moved here and trained, changed my life, left everything just to achieve my black belt from this guy. And I got him.
And you got
There's
the
a
black
video
belt.
and I'm like, yeah, there's a video that's like super emotional. Every time I see it, I just start crying. It's like,
What's the video called?
oh my gosh, it's on my Facebook. I don't know where. It's like on my videos. And it's like when I got my black belt, it's like the whole speech. You can also find it on my personal Instagram, but on my Facebook, it's there as well.
Do you want to do me a favor now that I'm sharing this? And do you want to tell people, just give a quick introduction about you? We just talked, you're in San Diego, but what you do and just who you are. You want to do a quick intro?
So I am a Pandora box. I've done many, many, many things in my life, and I discovered that dog training was my absolute passion and what I imagine myself doing till the day that I die. Even if I'm on a wheelchair, like whatever happens in this life, that's what I see myself doing because I just have this passion for dogs, and I feel my purpose is to make them feel understood in the world. And I discovered this passion when I was a little girl in Costa Rica. I used to just grab stray dogs from the street and bring them home and foster them until I found the place for them, spend all my money, all my savings, make deals with the vets over there, find them a home. And just the fact that I used to see them happy and like finding them a new life and a new purpose, it was enough for me. And I remember I used to just want to be a vet. And my dad, one time, he told me, I was like, you think being a veterinarian is what you want? Because it's not the same, right? It's like you're just going to be dealing with sick dogs and like disease, and it's different than what you're seeking. And in Costa Rica, a thing like dog trainer is not a career. It's not something that you grow up thinking that you can do, right? So it's something that I envisioned and that opened my eyes when I moved to the States. And it all started with Strategic Canine, the guy that messaged Kevin. We seek for his help and his advice because we had a German Shepherd that was really reactive. And my husband was going to go to surgery. And he didn't want to leave me with a 70-something pound dog who was super reactive and we didn't know what to do. So also as martial artists and jiu-jitsu practitioners, we were looking for a solution to our problem, which is what most people never do, right? And we seek for help and advice, and that's how we started getting into the dog training world. I wasn't as interested in the beginning, like I told you, because I didn't see it as a career. But then I fell in love with it and just became a nerd, started reading like crazy, working with rescue dogs in here as well. But it all started back in Costa Rica, rescuing stray dogs and just finding them a home. I've done a lot in my life. I've been a pastry chef. I worked in fine dining, a stage for a Michelin star restaurant in New York. Got a job offer, decided that I hated that. I didn't want to work for a French cuisine because it's not the way that I see food. It's like similar to dogs. I see it with passion, not just like pop, 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 pop. Right?
Yeah. It's a lot different when you look through the lens of a passion versus a career or an achievement point, right? And real quick, let me show you. Here, let me see if I can do this here. I can share my screen. And
Yeah.
so first thing I want to share is this right here.
Oh, you found it. So that's
There's the
Andre
black belt.
Gambal.
Okay.
Yeah. This
And
is the guy that everyone dreams to get their black belt from. Like one of the guys, like the best.
there, and who's that? Look at,
I was shaking.
I even queued it up to where you were coming to get your black. Look at, oh my gosh, the waterfalls. Oh, you're gonna make me cry here.
Oh man.
You know, this was when like I got confirmed Catholic. I was crying too, man. This is just something, achievements in life that you work for, and what a freaking achievement a black belt is, man.
Dude, yeah.
And look
It's
at her.
hard. It's like it's not the same as when people, oh, and look at this moment.
Yeah,
And
look at
the
this.
star came in. That's my husband.
Oh,
To finish
beautiful.
tying the black belt on me.
Oh, I'm so glad I found that, Laura.
Yeah.
What a beautiful, beautiful moment in your life, you know. And how long did it take for you to achieve this moment?
Yeah. It's crazy because you see a lot of people that start in the same journey with you, but you also see most of these people just fade away and they quit on their journey.
Yeah, same in dog training, man. You know, as somebody that's been in it I've had my business here since 2007, but even before that, I started when I was 8 years old. And just like anybody who's passionate about something, we sit and we just kind of observe things, right? And there's something in us that is piquing, that is interested in this activity, is definitely piquing that interest. And there's just something in our soul or that recognizes that, right? And it's like, ooh, I could do this forever. Like this is something that is speaking to something inside me that is just kind of exhilarating. It gives me chills. It makes me want to pursue this. It makes me want to sacrifice my own comfort to understand this on a greater level. And
100%.
The other thing I wanted to show you is because now we're talking about the dogs, and I want to show you a video that I took in Tamarindo, and this is some dogs just playing.
Oh yes.
Right. And
so man. Yes.
This was something that I was watching these dogs, and it's a lot different than America, right? Because these dogs, when I was driving from the airport to Tamarindo, it's about an hour drive from Liberia Airport to Tamarindo.
Yep.
And I must have counted, 14 dogs on the side of the highway, and there's nobody around or anything. And the thing is that the dogs, I've seen more calm and more balanced dogs without human interference, and just allowing them to just be dogs and allowing us to observe that which is them, right? And so what a wonderful place to start your dog training career, right? Is you don't have all the new.
Tell me.
I was going to say, you don't have all the nuances of the American culture influencing the way that you would view how you're supposed to interact with the dog.
No, so over there it's more like you either see a dog that's attached to a chain and it's like against a heavy tire or tied to a tree because they're protection dogs, but they're just dogs that are purely aggressive and they use them as protection, or the total opposite, right? Like people that just see their dogs as their babies and they're humans and they're just like really like, it depends also on your economic status, right? But when you see the stray dogs, it's insane. Like some of them, I ended up keeping 2 that they're still in my home in Costa Rica. My parents are with them and my sister. One of them was a mini pincher mix. And I remember I rescued her because the story behind her was that they dropped her off her car. They had many litters from her. and then they found her like useless, so they just dropped her off the car.
Hmm.
And she was like roaming around, and then I just kept seeing her around, and I'm like, this is not fair. It's really hot. She's probably hungry. So we started bringing water, and then we started bringing food. And I remember the way that I got her to my home was with food. And she was like, the first interaction that she had with me, I thought she was going to be aggressive, right? But she gave me her belly right away. So I was like, oh my God, you sweetheart, come here, come with me. And I took her to the bed. I did everything with her. I love her. And her name was Tracy Tamara Kardashian.
You dork. What a name. What a name. Tracy Tamara Kardashian.
She was so ugly. She was so ugly that she was cute. Like her ear was kind of like this. Her boobs were just like falling because she had so many
letters,
years,
right?
you know. And I remember this lady wanted to adopt her because I used to post about it and everything after I took care of them. And the lady saw her. I took it to her, and she was like, "Oh no, I don't want her. She's really ugly." And that broke my heart. I was like,
Here you come with me. You're my dog now.
I'm gonna give you the best life ever. And that dog ended up living like 22 years, I'm sure. Man, she had the best freaking life ever. And there was another one that I remember I used to run. I'm a former marathon runner. My parents are marathon runners and athletes too. And we used to train. And in Costa Rica, when you train for long distances, you train in the highway. You don't have like fields, and you don't go to like nice neighborhoods. You want to find a long run, you go to the highway, and you're like dealing with the speed cars, everything, right? And our highways are not like American highways. Our highways are like 2 lanes on each side, right? That's the most.
And crazy Costa Rican drivers passing on 2 lanes. I'm just like, and the guy, yeah. And then we're like, hey man, I'll tip you if you just slow down and go, like stay behind this bus. But yeah,
they're not afraid of honking at you or like going. They yell at you, right? It's the culture. But I remember one time we were running, and my dad was in the middle of the highway. There's like a grass patch, right? And I'm like, what are you doing there? What's happening? And he looks at me. He's like, look. And I just see like this little face coming out. And it's kind of like this lab mix that was there dying. And she's been there for like over a week, and we didn't even know. Dehydrated, like nobody cared. The story behind her was that she was chasing a dog through the highway, and the dog managed to just pass through, and she got hit by a big SUV. So she was with broken ribs, dehydrated. Yeah. So my dad went, we grabbed a towel, picked her up, and man, I had such a great connection with her, and we ended up keeping her. She's still alive. Her name is Lupe, from La Virgen de Guadalupe.
Okay.
And because she was a miracle, she only had like 5 broken ribs, and man, her life is great now. She lives in a house. She has a big backyard. She eats really good food. And yeah, that's like a little angel of mine too.
Lupe.
But yes, stray dogs in Costa Rica have it different.
Yeah, I would like to go to Costa Rica someday with you, or even if you're down there or something, I would like to. Yeah, meet up with you, because that sounds wonderful. Let me get to the comments, because they're starting to pile up here. And if you guys have any comments or any questions or anything, I'll get to them. But just post away. We got plenty of people, wonderful people joining us, man. Here's Laura, you need to come visit again. So you made quite an impression. Laura, greetings from Atlanta, Rosa says. Robert, thank you, man. Robert's always posting up. It doesn't show right here, but Robert, just so you know, you're on my list, man. I want to talk to you on one of these live streams, so I'll be reaching out to you shortly. And then Kevin from Strategic says, hey, and hello from Denise. Joseph says, what's up, you two? Hi, Laura. Little Bitches says hi. What's Little Bitches all about, Laura?
So Little Bitches is Duchess, is Joseph's dog.
Oh, okay.
She was the dog that I worked with on my first Gold School. Man, she's a savage. I love her.
Is that the Schnauzer?
Yes.
Okay.
But she's a bully. She was like, if you don't know how to deal with a bully dog, she's gonna take over you.
Okay. Michael Bishop speaking of Gold School, Joseph and Michael. What's up,
Yeah.
peeps? Two Leash Gangsters. What's up, Michael? I was just talking to him on the phone yesterday. Another one of my favorite people on the face of the earth, Teresa.
Yes, both of them. All
Yep.
great mentors.
Yep. Love you, Teresa. Kashi says Laura should be auditioning for John Wick franchise with her talent for jiu-jitsu and dog training. She would be the real deal. You know how to shoot a gun,
Imagine.
Laura?
Yeah,
You know
hell yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I know.
Daniel, hey, all from the Jersey Shore. What's up, Daniel? Thank you for being here. A yippee for Robert Rodriguez. Okay, and then we have a couple questions here from my friend Heather. She would love to hear your advice on what you would give to someone who is going to Gold School. How should they prep? What do you think?
So oh man, that's a hard question, Heather.
Do you want me to answer it first while you're thinking about it?
Yeah, you go.
I think remember to give yourself time to process Silver School, right? So a lot of people, it's a lot that we learn from in Silver School. And when you go to Gold School, the Silver School is more theory. The Gold School is hands-on. And so you're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be recapping what we learned in Silver School, but be ready to go hands-on with dogs. And just like with Silver School, no expectations. Keep an open mindset. Pretend like you're not a professional, not work with dogs. Don't bring any beliefs that you've had that might contradict what you're going to learn. Just be an open sponge and let the learning happen. What do you think? Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, that's perfect. You just said what I was thinking. I was like, be willing to learn, to be a student again. I think the best Gold School experience is going to be the one that you don't know anything. Of course, you're going to take the knowledge that you got from Silver School, but just go with an open mind because you're going there to learn. Go thirsty for that knowledge, right?
Right. And just like Caitlin says, reread your notes from Silver School. And just like with when we have our Gold Schools, I mean, there is a parameter of things that we're going to be touching on as teachers, as people that are, sounds like somebody just emptied trash or something.
That's a truck in there. I told you I'm in the patio.
No, you're good. You're good. But we specialize in different aspects. Like Heather and I are going to be working with pet dogs because that's typically what we do, and behavior modifications. But there are people that work with bite work. There's people PSA. There's people IGP. There's different categories of Gold Schools that are tailored to specific niches in the dog training world. And so keep that in mind as well, that one Gold School is going to be worlds different than another Gold School. But we're still going to touch on certain parameters like the tools that are in our backpack, what we can use. And then also we're going back through and we're talking about what you learned in Silver School and how the lessons that you've learned in Silver School are now applying to what we're teaching you and how to get the best out of the dog using the tools that you will find out in the Gold School.
I would also add to that, as a student of Gold School, to do your research on who you're going to learn from. Do your research and try to see if that fits what you actually want to go and learn. Like I know from Heather, who's asking the question, I really wanted to learn from her because I really wanted to learn her way of dealing with behavior modification. And that's what I got, and I loved it. And it opened like a whole different world for me. So,
yeah, do your research, ask people, talk to more than one people. I say talk to 3 people, and talk to people that if you know people that have gone through their school before, check in with them. And if you guys are interested, I put up a link to the website NePoPo Training where you can find a list of the gold multiplicators. And because there is a prerequisite of passing and earning your silver certificate from the NePoPo School. And there's also, here, let me actually show this because we just started, they just launched the online school. Okay. And so you guys check out the online Silver School that's on the website that I just shared, nepopotraining.com. I do recommend attending in person as far as the learning experience goes. What did you think about, let's go back to your silver school in
I think
Missouri?
it was amazing. I loved it. I think it was such a great experience. You know what? It's like a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that you have to be really focused and digest it. But I think I love learning. So it was a great learning experience. And being able to learn directly from Michael and Bart was a blessing. It's just an opportunity that I didn't think in my life I would have. But again, I'm used to learn from in different areas of my life from the best of the best. And I think when I saw them and I realized that these are the guys that are teaching me how to properly train dogs with the system that is cross species that works for a lot of other species, then man, it was a great opportunity. I think it was a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, and it just makes you itch to go back home and start applying everything, you know?
Yeah, that's the aspect of it too, is don't just learn this stuff, apply it, and let the there's knowledge where we read about stuff and we learn about it in a classroom, but then there's the knowledge through experience.
Yep.
And that's a whole different ball game, right? When you start to apply and let the feedback mechanism known as the dog show you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like when I came back home after my silver school, I started it with my dogs, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Right? Like, wow, we're talking.
Yeah. We open up lines of communication in a way that I never knew was possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that I had this as a beginning dog trainer. I wish that, and I remember sitting in my silver school class going, man, I wish that I knew this stuff way earlier.
Yeah.
And it's helpful not just to know the terminology and the verbiage, but to understand how my clients got to where they are with a reactive dog, with the dog that's pulling on the leash, with the dog that's being very rude, and inadvertently they were doing the NePoPo system and pouring gasoline on the behaviors that they did not want.
Yep.
And so it gives you the eyes to see that.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful system. I think I don't see any other way of training dogs that I feel more identified with. I like it. I love it. I think I love the fact that I'm building confidence in a dog and I'm preparing them for the future correction, and I'm not being unfair, because I also had the experience of mentoring under someone who actually was doing the opposite. And that was my ignition. My ignition was like, ooh, I don't want to do that. I don't feel that's what aligns with who I am as a person. There's no good or there's no right or wrong, but there's training that aligns with who you are as a person, who you are with your values, who you are with the waitress, who you are with your husband, with your wife, who you are. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly.
No, you're doing great. It's being authentic, right? And seeing the
Exactly.
authenticity in others and pursuing that, right? Where some people, especially with social media, can curate maybe an image that isn't the truth of their authentic self.
Yeah. And I don't like the aspect of training a dog and make a dog submissive, because I'm the one who's in control. You do what I say and this is how it's going to be. So for me, the ignition was exactly that. I want to learn how to properly communicate with this species. I want to know how to have a relationship, how to have this exchange, right? And finding more about the NePoPo system and about how to properly communicate with the dog, it opens your door. And I'm sure you've had that same experience when you go with your clients and they're like, oh, my dog has never done this. Mm-hmm. Or like, my dog never downs. And you're like, okay, I'll show you right away. Probably never downs for you.
Yeah, well, and it's also just a disconnect of like getting the person to understand that, sometimes we're just speaking in the wrong manner to the dog. And it's just like with what you were saying, to get the dog to enjoy the work, and like Caitlin's saying here, right, is not just get the dog to enjoy the work, but how to structure the environment where the dog thinks it's their idea too.
Yep.
Right. And it's empowering that dog, and the dog is creative. And then we have a way of rewarding the dog where they're just really fulfilled. And that's a really cool feeling when you have that connection, when those lines of communication are open, but you also feel that fulfillment balance between the human and the dog, where they're both getting enjoyment and have a great quality of life. Yep. And, just like Teresa says, continue lifetime student, because you will gain golden nuggets from everyone, because each person is completely unique. And I think she's saying, oh yeah, gold multiplicators. So everyone meaning gold multiplicators. Work my way through many instructors. And you're always invited here, Teresa. And that's what you find out is like, look, everybody kind of has a piece to the puzzle here. And so do you, right? We all have something to teach each other, but we also have things, everybody has something to learn from each other. Yeah. And it's just the aspect of laying down our egos and allowing ourselves to be the student, and then allowing ourselves to be the teacher as well. But you also have to know things very thoroughly to be the teacher. And Jerome's here too. Did you met Jerome, the Beagle guy?
Yes, the Beagle guy. Yes.
Look at his profile picture with all those beagles.
I know, that's so cute.
Jerome says he's going to bring me a beagle one of these times. I was like, my wife will kill me. I have 7 dogs right now, so I don't think so. He's like, you cannot refuse a gift, Bill. You can't refuse.
A beagle.
They're one of my favorite breeds. They're one of my favorite breeds, because they're so determined, and their nose is so good, right? So doing the scent work with them. Back when you were in Costa Rica, and you're talking about the different roles of dogs and the different, running along the highway, and you said like a protection dog, but I think that it's a little bit more generic than protection, because the dogs a lot of times are more of an alert type of situation and aggressive, because they're kind of left out on their own. And they're like guard dogs, right? They're just to alert people of intruders, alert people of a person that's encroaching on the property, but they're confined. They're in a space that is
creates frustration, right?
That's right. Big time frustration. Careful, Bill. One day he received a beagle, I promise.
He's sending it.
Yes, he is. And I mean, you'll know that I'll just melt when I get a beagle. But don't send me a beagle, Jerome, because my wife, not yet, buddy. Like, wait till I have less than 7 dogs. He has like 300 dogs. But
my gosh.
Yeah.
There's situation that happened in Costa Rica a long time ago, and it was pretty raw. It was so Costa Rica I think is probably the only country, I might be wrong, that we have immigration happening from north to south. So if you think about immigration situations that happen worldwide, it's usually, and it's a really weird scenario, it happens from south to north. So Costa Rica, we have a lot of immigrants that come from Nicaragua, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all come because we have free healthcare and we have like more opportunities for them. So for example, if a pregnant lady from Nicaragua comes to Costa Rica, they can have like 7 children and they all become citizens and they all get free healthcare, etc. Now, many of these people, I'm not saying they're bad, but many of these people come to Costa Rica and they don't come with the best intentions, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them just come and they're like illegals and they do bad things, etc. Just like in any other illegal situation, right? You have good ones that are seeking for work and improve their lives, and then you have the other ones. And this situation that happened was this 2 guys from Nicaragua. They were trying to rob a property, and they entered the property, and they had 2 Rottweilers. And then I know it sounds pretty messed up and it's raw, but the 2 Rottweilers ate the 2 guys, like destroy them, pull their arms, like, and then people in the country all over. And this is messed up. This is part of the culture. They were putting them as like national heroes.
Mm-hmm.
and they're like making like things with the Rottweilers, and,
Excuse
like,
me.
just because they ate them and they made them pay because they were doing something wrong. But that's the kind of like protection security dog that you find over there, right? And people are gonna applaud that. It's like perfect. They kill them, they destroy them. And then the other part that it's really messed up in that culture that I've seen, and when I tell this to people, they get surprised, and I'm like, no, that's the reality of things. That's how it happens. And I think people should have a vision of this happens to dogs as well. Homeless guys or homeless people in Costa Rica, they use dogs for their own sexual pleasure or just for fun. They just tie like fireworks on their tail and they just like try to kill them and stuff like that. So part of what got me again into this dog training is that purpose of giving them a opportunity, a better life. And eventually I want to move back to Costa Rica and I want to like open an opportunity for these dogs to have a better life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know it's like an addition to all the subject, but I think it's good to bring it out and let people know like these are real life situations that happen, right? It's not just sunshine and rainbows.
Well, life is different in different countries around the world, right?
Yep.
And what did you think of when you moved to America? What is when you first stepped and came here and walked out around and saw the highways, saw the traffic lights, saw the traffic, saw the different stores and everything. What were your thoughts?
So it's a different world. Still today, like I was driving with my husband and we see like the highways and I still kind of like tell him things like this is unbelievable. This is crazy. This is man-made and man, seeing so many circles and going up and down, like crossing and the highways. It's so organized. It's so first world country, right? Um, but one of the interesting things that I realized when I moved here, it was like in that transition phase. I don't know, like dog culture became popular all of a sudden. I don't know in Costa Rica what timeline it happened as well. But when I used to live there, we didn't have dog parks. That wasn't a thing. Or like picking your dog poop, that wasn't a thing. You know, it's like you're walking around with a bunch of plastic bags. No, yeah, like those highways. Man, today we're driving and I'm like, this is impressive.
Yes.
Someone thought of this and people made it, right? They built it. Um, and yeah, it's just a different, it's a contrast. And you don't see dogs in the highway, you don't see lost dogs over there. You part of driving, and I'm sure you've experienced this, part of the challenge of driving is not hitting a stray dog that's crossing the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people tell you, are you going to sacrifice your life or are you going to save the dog? So you
Yes.
have to be really careful when you're driving.
Well, they also say that the smart dogs are the ones that are weary of the traffic because the ones that aren't are no longer around,
Yep. Yep.
right? And
They survive.
it's a harsh reality too, right? Of just living in a different country and that's what I tell people in America. Like I hear people a lot of times, especially in the news or whatever, you hear people talking really bad about America. And I just want to ask them, have you been to other countries? Have you seen how good we have it here? Have you seen, immediately, like I can call 911 and I'll have here if I have a medical emergency.
Yeah.
Even a helicopter I've seen land in my field one time when we had an auto accident out there to medevac somebody that was hurt very badly. And it's just such the airports that we have, the many different routes of ways to get to our destination, the many conveniences that we have. It puts me in awe, and it just makes me
The
so
luxuries.
thankful. Yeah, the luxuries that we
Yep.
have, the like, and I can tell immediately if somebody starts speaking bad about it that they have never been to a place that doesn't have this,
Yep.
and so
Now,
that's
the other aspect that I found that it was really different, and I think it's better in third world countries, or at least if I compare it in Costa Rica to here, is that over there, when you go to a veterinarian, man, if they're your friend or if they're actually passionate about what they're doing, they'll help you. They're
mhm,
not trying to get your money. They're not trying to get
yes.
to your wallet. They're like they're actually seeking for the best of the dog. So like I told you, for example, I used to go with strays to this guy who became my friend because he realized what I was doing. It's like, Laura, I'll just charge you like the meds. I'll do surgery and and I was like, hell yeah, perfect. Then we can collaborate and we can just make it work, right? As opposed to here, what I've experienced, I feel like it's a lot of just like capitalism. It's a lot of like, hey, now you have to pay. Oh, your dog doesn't have the record, the vaccine records on this date that the doctor wants it, then you have to put all the shots again. If not, it's not going to go on the record.
Yeah.
You know, it's more wallet and business like, and not more like passion pursuit, like what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, and I talked to a couple of vets about that. It's like, look, man, there's I call it economic boundaries that deter people from taking their dogs to the vet regularly, or being upsold, or being sold a bunch of fear. Right? You better vaccinate your dog, or they're gonna. This is in raccoon pee. This is in. And then I go and do my research, and I realize that this has never been seen in this area, like this particular disease that they're trying to vaccinate for, or it's so very rare, or if they do vaccinate for it, then it's you know, if the dog does contract the disease, then it's something that they can get over, right? And it's become a racket sometimes, where the vet that I have, shout out to Dr. Ron, Smoky Point Animal Hospital here in Seattle. He's I think almost 90 years old, right? And he's like what you talk about. Like I remember new to your dog to forget to fix aggression, or vets not using training tools, right?
Yes.
Right, and there is some aspects of neutering younger, right, that can. Whatever. I mean, like they say neuter really young, and it has an effect on your on the system of, like, what is it, endocrine system, right? So when I was born, if you were to remove certain organs off my body during the time of puberty, I wouldn't have these organs, right? So I would be the shorter stature as far as human being, higher voice. I mean, there would be a lot of changes. So if you remove my gonads, sorry everybody to make you think of my gonads, but haha. And that's the way I tell people is like, look, if you allow the dog to have their natural course of growing and allowing the surges of hormones that happen naturally, then we get the benefits. And the reason why I didn't put these on the dog, God put them. This is the way that God made these animals, right? And so there's nature. It's nature. There's a reason why. Which organs, Bill? Oh, there's Joe too. I got everybody joining us. Joe, shout out to Joe Hodge, and shout out to your beautiful wife, Joe. Joe's been helping me with some of my business aspects, and his wife as well. So I just I appreciate you guys very much. You guys are in Arizona. Joe Hodges. His bow wows. I didn't even see his comment. Yeah, my bow wows. Joe's one of the real ones. So
they were trying to push on my puppy 8 parvo vaccines.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
We get parvo up here, but I mean, a couple vaccines should be good. You know, I do the
8.
Yeah, I do 4-way when I was 4-way vaccine. I would, and the other thing is that I vaccinate my own dogs.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's something that people don't know. They don't realize, and and it's something that you can do perfectly legal here in America. The only thing that's not legal is surgeries, right? Yeah. And so let me find the vaccine that I use. It's a 4-way. It has the Bernese Mountain Dog on the cover here. Hold on, let's see. I found it right here. So share this tab. This one's a 5. Does it do 5? It was a 5-way. Yeah, maybe it's the 5-way. So instead of 4-way, this is the one that I use right here. Just adenovirus, and then it has a parvovirus. So I do 2 of these. before my puppies go home, and they're good to go for a bit. I definitely recommend doing your research on all vaccines. And the bad thing is that they just do one vaccine per dog, and some of them it's not even determined on weight. So the little dog is going to get the same amount that the big dogs get. So we're learning a lot about this stuff, and make sure that your vet is knowledgeable. And if they're not, or if they like to use economic pressure or fearful tactics, then find a different vet. There's plenty of vets out there. And one of my vet friends, I was talking to them, and they just said, well, like, all these machines cost a lot of money. I get it. And it's, it's an expensive career, but there's also aspects of this that are unnecessary, and we need to find those vets that align with our passions and our desires of why we work with the dogs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. The other day we took my senior to the vet, and we used the box for her to focus on behavior while they were like touching her and do stuff, right? The dopamine box. And the vet enters with the technician, and they're both like looking. They're like, what is this? And it turned out being an educational session for them. And the vet looks at me and was like, oh, I love it. All positive reinforcement, right? And I stop and I look at her and I said, no, that's bullshit. I said, that would be me lying to you and using marketing strategies to sell you my service. I said, it's not all positive. I said, would you raise your child only giving them Snickers bars? And she's like, you're right. And then, man, they fell in love with the box, with the concept, with how it was working. And she's like, I need you to train every single dog that comes to my bed. I was like, that's nice to hear someone that's open-minded like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that a lot of times too, like, I get it, man. You guys, veterinarians don't have a ton of work with behavior. They have a lot to learn about the different various systems, how they react, how they act. If we're having trauma, if we have a dog that is just hit by a car, if we have a dog that has experienced poison, whatever it is, there's no place that I'd rather be than a veterinarian, Western veterinarian, right? But if I have problems with behavior, what I tell them is that the veterinarians, they push hills and pills. So hills, which is a science diet, Hills science diet, which is the best. Hills, right? And then pills, right? Where they
gabapentin,
right? Neurontin, gabapentin, tramadol, different aspects of pet, Prozac, right? And where this stuff, I've had plenty of dogs that have came to me as far as for training that were on these pills, and we get them titrated or weaned off the pills, and I'll tell them, work with the vet, tell them that you're working with somebody that's a dog trainer, and we want to get them off the pills. And it's had a tremendous effect, not just on the behavior, but the quality of life of that dog. And I kind of see that influencing the way the dog looks at me when they're on these pills. They kind of look through me. That's what I compare it to. Like there's an aspect of the dog that's absent. And so I want to address the behavior that's underlying. And right, Joe says that multi-species, right, where they're studying cats, they're studying birds, they're studying dogs. My vet just does cats and dogs, but still that's a lot to learn with that. And then behavior science is not a major focus. Like, there are some teachings of behavior science within the industry, but it's mostly about the physical system, the different system functioning, regulatory systems, circulatory, neurological, skeletal, and how to fix them, right? Endocrine system, like we were talking about. And so, yeah, I get it. But there are vets out there that they seem to be few and far between, but when you find them, they're gold, man. Hold on to them, love them up. And the other aspect that we don't talk about is that veterinarians are one of the highest suicide rates of any profession.
Interesting. I
Did
didn't
you
know
know
that. I
that?
thought there were dentists.
I think so too. Dentists too, but veterinarians. Here, let's get onto the dark subject of the suicide
Oh
for.
man, that's interesting.
The reason, I mean, just think about, because they are, just so much rates per profession. All right, let's see here. The suicide rate by industry and occupation. Yep, here's public health impact references. Okay. All industries. Here, I'm looking at these rates here. Of course, I should have done this. It doesn't have veterinarians, but yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
Of course.
And just like with dentists too, I'm sure that veterinarian.
I never understood dentists, but of course, I'm not in that position, right?
Yeah, but look at this. Okay, so here I just pulled this up. I just Googled this about suicide rates, veterinarians, and the CDC study shows that veterinarians are between 2 to 4 times more likely to die by suicide than the general population.
Oh wow.
And let me see here. Yeah, isn't that crazy? They even have like this tab here.
Oh, that's interesting.
4 times higher than expected base. So the general population. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's something. Oh, that thing is so little. I can't even see it. But that's something to take into consideration too, right? When we're talking about this stuff, is they have a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, and so find a good vet, but also pray for our veterinarians too. Pray for the people, that give them strength, maybe, and provide guidance in a way that they find, that there's a reason why they're in that profession, and hopefully they remain strong. And euthanasia is part of their everyday life.
Oh my God.
Right,
Yeah.
where we euthanize a dog every few years or whatever, and it just takes it out of me. But every single day, I mean, not just for age or health issues. I shouldn't have been drinking Topo Chicos, because now I'm. Do you have Topo Chicos down in Costa?
Yes.
Topo Chico. This is a non-alcoholic one, but I love it because they're super fizzy, right? But now I'm burping on the microphone. Sorry if I burp on the microphone, you guys. But yeah, so let's say a prayer, but also, be determined to find. What I was saying is that the euthanasia rates for the vets, like not just old age, but behavioral euthanasias. And just feeling the emotional baggage of people that are going through that too on a daily basis has got to be a heavy burden as well. Joseph says it's got to be hard to handle the people in today's world as a vet. No kidding, man. Think how berated people are just with their dog room where the filters have been removed.
Yes.
Good point, man.
Yes.
So yeah, pray for our vets, and yeah. So we'll get on a different topic.
I know, right?
So you get to America. You have this 70-pound German Shepherd, and you're with your husband. He's going out of town, right? Going on a trip.
He's gonna get
surgery. That's right, surgery.
Yeah, ACL and meniscus surgery in Costa Rica.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay here with my reactive dog, 70-pound dog. And I don't know if you've seen me. I'm fairly short. I'm like 5 feet, 5 foot.
Really?
150. Yeah, I'm tiny.
Okay, my wife's 5'3".
Oh no, I'm way shorter than that.
Oh, my wife would love to meet you. She'd be like, haha, I'm taller than you.
Yeah, for sure. I make anyone feel the tallest person in the world.
And so you meet Kevin. How did you meet him?
So Kevin was recommended by a friend. And then we start training with Kevin. And believe it or not, Kevin applies a lot of NePoPo.
Here's Kevin right here.
while Kevin is doing all this NePoPo, like I kind of like start understanding little by little. I'm not that into it because again, I don't see it as a career. Meanwhile, I'm working as a pastry chef. Um, and then eventually I just start getting more and more involved. My husband leaves, and then I see the relationship of me and my dog just getting better. And little by little, we just started growing into it. And then one day I just said, I remember I was walking her, and there's a guy around here where I live, and he told me, he's like, hey, have you ever considered being a dog trainer? I was like, yeah, it was like there on my mind, but I never kind of like went for it. He's like, you should, your dog is really good. And I'm like, well, that shouldn't be like the only reason why you want to become a dog trainer, but thank you. And then that's it. I just started seeking for mentorships and started reading books. I remember I read Survival and Comfort, which I was talking with Michael Bishop.
Yeah,
I
Calvin.
love that book. Yes.
Where is it at? I got it around here somewhere. But yeah, I just had Calvin on. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's my buddy.
That book changed my perspective, right? And I think
In what way? What do you remember? What?
just survival and comfort, and explain how dogs are just having the behaviors that they're having, especially to pet owners, right? Like your dog is behaving like this because it's seeking for survival,
Mm-hmm.
or your dog is way too comfortable, it's spoiled, right? And it's not working for anything, doesn't have a purpose. Um, and yeah, then
It changes your perspective
a
because what
lot.
we do is we, as human beings, we want to project our own perception because it makes it easier to understand for
Hmm.
us, right? I get it, but
Yeah.
we have to realize that not every living creature sees the world the way
As
that we
us.
see it, right? Or even capable of having the thought processes that we have.
Yep.
And so it's important to kind of, I encourage my clients to, instead of making the dog a human being, to understand the dog and become the dog in a way through, and see the world through the dog's eyes by proxy. And so
Yep.
this is a book that you're talking about, understanding the dog's
Yes.
mind through
Amazing.
survival and comfort. And
Yep.
Calvin is a great guy and is a great dog trainer. And I highly recommend it. I just put a link to this book on Amazon in the comments below, so check it out, you guys. So you read the book and you're starting to entertain the idea.
Yeah. And I just like I was working at that moment, at that time, as a pastry chef. And then after COVID, I started working again as a nutritionist. And I was developing like I told you, I'm a Pandora box, you know. So I was developing AI for nutrition and just helping AI to eliminate nutrition jobs, basically. Um, and then I said, you know what? If I don't risk it all and I don't go for it, I'm never going to do it. So I just decided to quit everything and just started working with rescue dogs and started working with clients and started seeking people. And just by getting hands on, you know, and going on and on and on and just practicing with the dogs. And then the more experience I was getting, the more I was understanding, like, okay, it's problem solving. It's problem solving. And that's what I love. It's the challenge of consistently being there and not sticking to A, B, and C, but being able to switch and have a problem solving happening in that time, which resembles a lot with jiu-jitsu. And that's
Yeah.
why I fell in love with it.
Well, and I can see how, and explain to me how it's like you jujitsu, because I have a thing that, or a way that I'm thinking that it might be, but how
Okay.
do you approach, and what do you like? Explain that a little bit further. Expand on that.
So jiu-jitsu is the art of submission, but the art of control to submission. So you're good at jiu-jitsu when you can control an opponent and eventually you can submit your opponent, right? Um, and one of the best things is that when you get into an uncomfortable position, you're able to deal with this situation and try to like untie the knots. why you got there on the first place, right? So little by little, you start thinking. There's this position called side control. So for example, someone's on top of you and it's really heavy and it's not letting you breathe and they're putting a lot of pressure. And this also relates a lot to dog training, right? It also reflects about who you are as a person, how you react to these situations and how you react to these times when you're in bad situations says a lot about who you are as a person. If you're someone that gets upset, if you're someone that gets stressed easily, that freaks out, that just yells, someone that doesn't know what to do in stressful situations. And eventually, the more experience you get, the more you understand, okay, it's just like a game of chess, right? So
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
into a problem. That's side
yeah.
control, for example.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to show to illustrate. So what the side control is, and so you're
That's
laying.
side control.
Okay.
So
So yeah.
the person that's at the bottom
Okay.
just got the guard pass and they're on side control. So they're getting control in that position. I cannot move. I'm having all the weight on here. They're controlling my head. They're putting pressure on my chin. They're controlling my hips. I cannot get out. So how can I apply this to dog training? Is not freaking out, is being able to take a deep breath, not losing my cool, and understanding how to solve problems little by little, untying knots with finesse, not force. Because of course, I lift weights, I'm strong, I use my strength, but I use it in ways that are practical to problem solve. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And being aware and being in the moment, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
allowing your awareness to be in the space that you're at instead of down the block, right? Or and that's where I also tell my clients is like, look, as I walk into the house here and we start to open the door and the dog steps outside, the dog's awareness is no longer with us. The dog's awareness is way, way, way down the street.
Yes.
And how do we bring that awareness back to us? That's what I tell my clients is like, this is what we're going to learn, how to keep the dog's present moment
Yes.
focused on his immediate surroundings in that moment.
So interesting is when you're a white belt in jiu-jitsu, you don't know any technique. So you're basically just there surviving. And one of the white belt things that happens that it's usual in white belts is that they're just pure strength and no technique. And white belts actually become the most dangerous people for you to train with because they're like just going ham sandwich. They're just like they're willing to blow their knees. They're
Yeah,
fighting
yeah,
for survival, right? They're
yeah,
not using finesse. They're not using problem solving. They're just surviving. And eventually, the more experience you get, the more you learn to like, oh, I can play this guard. Oh, I can attack this way. Oh, I can link certain types of movements and then get to this position that's going to help me attack this problem. So we see the linking networks happening again. And it's funny because we also see types of training that we use. For example, we use specific training. Specific training is on purpose. I'm going to put myself in this bad position, in this bad situation, and I'm going to practice as many times as possible how to get out of this situation. So imagine that applied to dog training. How do you put yourself and how do you do specific training? Which I'm doing with my puppy right now. I want my puppy to be for sport. I want my puppy to be a working dog. But my main priority on my puppy that comes from a civil bloodline is for her to be neutral around any environment. So I'm bringing her today. I brought her to Costco and I went, man, Costco, busy, carts, alarms, people making eye contact, everything. And she just has to chill. So
mm-hmm.
that's specific training right there. I'm bringing her to a challenging situation. Of course, after I've been practicing this at less challenging situations, but
Yes.
we're bringing the level up little by little because I want her to develop this skill. And if I run away from it, like most working dogs that probably you've seen, not most, but many, that they just become kennel dogs, and that's unfair for the dog. I don't want a dog that cannot be in public. I don't want a dog that I cannot travel with. I don't want a dog that's just a liability for me.
That's right. What's up, Joey? Joey just joined us here.
What's up, Joey? Another mentor of mine.
Yeah, wonderful guy. I was just talking to Joey earlier today. Yeah, and especially with high maintenance dogs, right? We have to have them exposed to the human world.
Yeah.
Right. We just can't keep them in the ring. We just can't keep them in the working dog arena because, like you said, that becomes a liability. But we also have to know when to start to do the linking networks and what you were saying about the specific training as well, because we want the dog to be neutral, but we know where we're going to encounter chaos. We know where we are going to, have a lot of moving parts in an environment. But just like we prepare the dog for the correction, we have to prepare the dog for the chaos.
Yep.
Right. And it's
100%.
incremental. It's incremental. Boom, you do good. Boom, you do good. Boom, you do good. Boom, you do good. And then pretty soon that, ladies and gentlemen, is where positive reinforcement really comes in.
Yeah.
Because now the dog has remained neutral in a chaotic environment. And guess what? You're really proud of them. You're like, good dog. And that's where, I see a lot of times trainers try to put the cart before the horse in a matter of ways because they try to be positive before the dog has really achieved. Right? Where we have to let the dog be, let the dog experience, let the dog show understanding. And in my opinion, that's where the real power of positive reinforcement comes in, because then when we love up that dog, one, it's real. You're proud of that dog. Mm-hmm. And two, the dog is like, what? I did it. Like it's something that dog really, really takes and sees that picture and allows them that calm aspect of what they've really learned to sink in and then remain neutral. And then we also have the aspect of like, look, we have time and a place for this stuff, right? Yep. And it's just like with kids, taking them out to a nice dinner, taking them to church on Sunday. There's a way that we have them that you need to behave, right? Yeah. And in church, in Catholic church, we bring the kids to the mass, and we actually have a cry room.
Oh.
And so when the kids start crying, and so they're not disrupting the mass too much, the parent and the kid go off into the cry room where they can still experience the mass in a kind of a soundproof room.
Oh, interesting.
But it's saying that, look, we're not discounting the fact that things are going to go wrong. We have a solution for when they do go wrong.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right.
Yeah.
And so we're always prepared for the inevitable, but we're also waiting for what our goal is, which is, like you said, being neutral in a chaotic environment.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a lot of how Jiu-Jitsu or martial arts can apply to it. There's way more, and there's like other concepts, like for example, drilling. We do a lot of drilling. So if you think of drilling as luring, right? Okay. So it's muscle memory. And in Jiu-Jitsu, I know it's really similar. If you do a technique, I think 1,000 times, then you're going to be able to just do it live, or do it during a roll or sparring, or during a fight, during a training. And then if you keep practicing and then you do 10,000 times the rep, then in competition it's going to be supernatural. You're just going to hit that move super fast. Now imagine with the dog, it's the same. The luring fades after you do it so many times that the dog just understands that, like, boom, right? So that applies a lot, and it's really similar to drilling a technique.
These are drills, right? These are side control drills that you can do over and over and over again. And notice that she doesn't have an opponent beside her, but she has, and she's learning the same drills by doing the muscle memory.
Yep. So that's knee on belly, for example, and then she's going windshield wiper, mount position, and then she's going knee on belly, mount position. So she's doing it like this. Again. Yeah. And then eventually you add speed, and then you add an opponent. And then after that, you're going to add it in certain reps during certain times, right? And eventually you're just going to do it live training, and then you're going to start doing specific training. So you're going to have to be able to hit this technique during your roles, for example. And I think a lot of these concepts apply to the dog training world, and it all comes down to problem solving, right?
Yeah, now look at her.
Yeah, that's called knee on belly. So that's control on the sternum of the opponent and just keep Fantastic. The control, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And the skill drills, right? Over and over and over. I tell people repetition's the mother of learning.
Yep.
Right? Over and over. Muscle memory. And I tell people it's like learning a dance. You know, you got to kind of be willing to suck at it. You got to
just mess up.
Just mess up. Like, be easy on yourself, right? And know that it's going to happen, and learn to laugh at yourself a little bit, right? But also hold yourself accountable and work on always improving. And then pretty soon you look and you see the more professional and fluid and confident way of moving.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to add is, for example, a lot of people think that when you get your black belt, and think of it as like the highest level of training or competition that you can achieve as a dog trainer, right? You get IGP3 or etc., right? A lot of people think that when you get your black belt, you're done. I did it. I quit. No, that's actually when the fun begins. That's when you're like, oh, I did it. I got here. Now the fun begins. Now I can start applying concepts. Now I can start doing all those linking networks. Now I can play with the lower belts and start just like applying all these chains of movements together. So,
it's just the beginning. It's not the end. It's now that you've achieved that.
If you quit, then you just did it for the wrong reason, in my opinion. Like, you just wanted to get that thing. You never fell in love with the career itself.
Well, it's like what we were talking about with the vets. It's more of an achievement instead of an actual passion, right? It's it's just you know, once you're done, then, or once you've achieved it, then you're done. Then that just speaks to, you know, it's not just the beginning of your new life as a black belt. It's the end of your old life as wanting to achieve this title.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I see it as like also pattern recognition, right? As you're living in the moment, you're recognizing the patterns that your opponent are doing, right? And so, and then you can respond to them, and you can also set up a situation, just like you were saying with the specific training and linking networks. Of like, look, I'm going to draw you in so I can address this pattern that I see, and either take advantage of it or correct it or whatever it is. And same thing with the dogs, like, or to enhance it, to play with it, right? I see a pattern of way that you're playing, so I want to build the relationship that I have with you, right? And it reminds me of Jay Jack. And you don't know Jay Jack? Have you met him yet?
I've heard of him. This is the guy that has a Jiu-Jitsu Academy and dog training facility on the same place?
Yep.
Yes, I've heard of him.
He's an amazing individual, and I love him. I'm going to be having him back on. I've had him on a couple times. He's a dear friend of mine. and I'm gonna let him know that we're shouting him out. Love you, Jay.
That's a dream.
Well, and he also he's such a good orator. He's such a good talker. He's somebody I admire, man. Like during COVID, there was this app that came out called Clubhouse, and Jay Jack was somebody that I would talk to a lot. It was just audio only, so it was just people talking, right? And I found out like the people that can kick your ass, like you can always go to get an ass beating, right? But the true people, how the heck did you get out of? Hold on, I gotta take care of this dog real quick. I'll be right back, okay? I got this dog that came off her tether. I'll be right back, you guys. So, just one second.
Just a quick ad commercial.
Yeah.
Live streams, things that happen. That's why I'm outside and my puppy is not.
I have no clue.
I said
She
live,
got out of there. Sorry, guys.
live stream, things that happen.
Parley chomped it in half. What is she saying? Yeah, I don't know. I don't. The leash is fine. I thought that the leash, but but yeah, she just shows up in here like, hey, just got this new dog today. She's a Chow Pity mix, and she's a little reactive. She seems good with dogs. She's been here for a few hours, and I'm just kind of letting her decompress. And just kind of experience me. Houdini. I have no clue how she got off, man. We'll see if she gets off again. But everything was intact, and she's just wandering around. But yeah, magic. So what were we just chatting about?
I don't know. I lost track of it as well. I was laughing. I was like, that's why
I was shouting out Jay Jack, right? And being a good orator, right? And like this guy can kick my ass 10 times from Saturday. Like he's just a badass, right? Yeah. And when you have that ability, like when you know that you can definitely hurt somebody, like you use every tactic to stay out of that realm, right?
So the first thing of jiu-jitsu is to avoid the conflict.
Exactly, right? And same thing, like I carry a gun with me a lot. Like I've done it since I was a young kid. I have a concealed carry permit. I've trained, and I've never pulled my gun. I never want to pull my gun. Yeah. Nobody's ever seen my gun. Nobody ever knows that I have a gun on me, except if I choose to tell you. I'm not armed right now because I'm in my house. But as soon as I see some hairy situation, I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I see something going on down the street, either I'm walking away from that or I'm walking across the street or something. I am totally avoiding that. Okay. And if it comes to me, I'm using my voice and I'm using my way of humor and being funny to try to diffuse a situation. And same thing with Jay Jack, man. He just got this gift of being able to talk through situations, being able to avoid conflict through speaking. And I think that is such a wonderful gift to have. And I'm sure that it comes from the aspect of like, look, dude, I could kick your ass right now. Like if we could end this all right this second, right? And I could put you to sleep if I needed to, right?
It gives you a sense of confidence. That's really, really, it's a nice feeling. It's like, man, you've worked so hard to achieve this level of fight in you. I mean, I've been training since 2010. And before that, I did 7 years of boxing. And I'm also a marathon runner. But knowing how to fight someone, I feel it's a skill that you should learn. As a human being, you should know how to fight. Especially if you're a female. You should know how to fight and how to defend yourself. And that gives you so much confidence. It doesn't mean that you're going to go and fight everyone, it means that you can defend yourself at any moment against any threat, that you can use your body as a weapon,
Well, and it's assurance, right? There's a presence about you now, right?
Yes.
It's like you can, like if you are kind of weak, and if you are,
And you're like,
yeah,
I,
you show it. Like people know it, right? They
yeah.
stay strapped. Hell yeah, Joey.
Stay
Like
strapped. Yeah,
I'm walking around like wishing motherfucker. No, just kidding. Bop, bop, bop. No. Welcome to America.
yeah,
No,
pew pew.
yeah, it's not even like that, but it's good to have, man. It's like, even though I've never used it. Hey, look who's
Yeah,
joining us.
I have my
Look
gun
at
too.
Calvin
Oh,
Wilmon is
hi.
joining us. We were just shouting you out, my man, and I put up a link to your Survival and Comfort. Thank you for writing that book, Calvin. I love you.
Best book ever.
Since he's here, will you tell him what that meant to you, reading the book, and how you found it? You found it from Michael, right?
So no, I found it actually from Kevin, the strategic canine guy.
Okay.
He's the one who recommended me the book, and after I read the book, it just changed my whole perspective on dog training and understanding behavior in dogs. It kind of like opened a new world for me. Yeah, amazing book. Yeah, Caitlin knows too.
Yeah, we were just chatting about you, buddy. So, bacon and bullets.
Bacon and bullets.
The American way.
Oh, Joey.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's just an aspect of learning how to fight. I used to do kickboxing, and
Okay.
and a Tong Soo Do, right, which is a Korean branch of Taekwondo, and we worked on weapon
Yeah, that's
fitness.
hard.
Yeah, and now the one biggest lesson that I learned from that, Laura, is, man, you never know. Like, there was this guy, Victor Martinez. He's still in Boise there, and a friend of mine from a long time ago. And when he first got into town, he came from Fresno, California, and he comes to the dojo, and we're in the ring, and he's just like, yeah, I want to give it a shot. And here I am, and I was lifting weights, and I was a little bit more buff and strong, and this guy, I mean, I was probably 160, and he was probably 130, 125, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, let's do it, man. So we padded up, and he hit me harder than anybody I've ever been hit before in my life. Like, I will always remember that. Like, he just pow.
I mean, you still remember.
I will always remember that. He rung my bell. Like, I just remember, like, he almost knocked me out. Like, I saw stars.
Yeah.
Right. And right then I had a lesson, like, never judge a book by its cover. Like, this little dude who I thought I was just going to mop the floor with just taught me a big lesson of, like, dude, like, he can hit. And I don't know how the hell he did it or anything, man. Like, it was just such a surprise. Like, I just, even to this day, and I was 16, right? That's 30 years ago.
Yeah, you still remember.
Yeah, you don't forget that shit. Like, you cleaned my clock, man. And I'm glad that I was just like, whoa, okay, I'm done, dude. Like,
cool.
Yeah, we're good. I'm gonna be friends with this guy now,
Yeah. You never expect for me to fight. I'm 5 foot, like I told you. I'm tiny. Then you see me and it's like, what?
Big things come in small packages sometimes,
Poison too.
Yeah, same with my wife, man. And you know what? My wife's 5'3", and she's a startle puncher. So if you startle her, she'll punch without even knowing it.
She'll punch you hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right in the center of my chest. Boom. So I make sure that I'm just out of arm's length when I scare her. I'm like,
yeah,
like back here. So
far away.
You're right, far away, to make sure that I don't get clobbered. But yeah, people never judge a book by its cover, and be careful of the fights that you pick, So
you never know.
You never know, man.
It's funny. You know what? Now that you say that, it's like, and I see this a lot in animal behavior or dogs. And I see it with my husband. And even before we got into the dog training world, I always explained to him. My husband, I don't know if you have seen him or a picture of him, but he has like cauliflower ears. He's like brown skin. He looks like strong. He's tall. But everywhere we walk by, you see like all these other guys, and they always try to like confront him, like
weird?
stare at him, like, and I'm like, they're just trying to like confront something that feels or makes them feel insecure. I don't know. It's like when I'm walking my shepherd and you see the tiny poodle like, right? I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But yeah, it's like never judge a book by its cover. I agree.
I think that they are showing their own insecurities by, I don't know. It's an interesting thing, man. I have a buddy of mine that's like 6'8" and just yoked and super big. And people, like I've gotten so many instances where people are just being rude to him, right?
Yeah.
Or just trying to just start shit with him.
Over nothing,
Yeah, and he's learned, and he's the most patient, gentle guy. Like I wouldn't want to see, the flip side of him, like really, really losing his temper, because he would destroy just the sheer strength that he has. But I've seen that, and I've talked to him about that, and he's learned patience by it, and that's what it has taught him. It's just like, I just have to be patient and know that it's just part of human nature, just like it's probably part of dog nature to, by them being disrespectful and having that person do nothing gives them a boost of their ego.
Yeah, right.
Not realizing that this guy's choosing not to do anything because he'll mop the floor with you in a second, right?
Yeah. A guy at 24-Hour Fitness not too long ago grabbed his sweater that he was using in the machine and said, "Hey, you cannot use two machines at the same time." Grabbed his sweater and threw it at him, to his face. And I'm like, oh my Jesus, Lord Christ. And I just I spotted this situation happening from far away, and I see this two guys trying to yell at my husband and push him and like, "Hey, what's up?" And like coming close and trying to fight him. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not good. So my immediate problem solving skill there said I was going to be a Karen. So I just ran and grabbed my phone and I started recording. And I said, because this is just going to make everyone just calm down because they're being recorded. Right? You put a camera in front of someone, they change right away.
Yeah.
So I just put the phone, boom, stop. But this guy was about to be taken down, double leg, concussion, hospital, trauma. I'm like, I just saw all the future of this guy happening in 1 minute. And I'm like, no, let's just avoid it.
Well, it's also people like that will start conflict just so they can sue, right? And same thing in dog world. You might not know this, but people are criminal minded. They go to a situation where they know that there's a potential dog bite, and they'll evoke the bite so that they can sue the owner.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yep. And so who knows why people do what they do. But kudos to, as I'm burping, but kudos to your husband for, just maintaining his cool. And I look forward to meeting him someday when you guys come up to Seattle. I want you to come up and I'll show you guys around. And don't worry, I'll protect him. I'll be like, we got a problem here. We got a problem.
Pew, 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 pew.
Like, everybody get on the floor. No, just kidding.
No, we love to shoot too. We love to shoot. We both have. Each one of us have our own gun too. We love to shoot guns.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a good tool. It's an ultimate equalizer. You're right. And same thing with my wife too. We're all licensed. We all carry. We all train, carry, and hopefully I never need it, but I'm so thankful that I have it. And that's the only that's how I feel about it,
Same. America.
America. Yeah, it's not like that in Costa. No, I was asking him, and I saw this guy. I finally saw like the security guard with the gun, and I'm like, "Oh, what you got there?" And it was a toy gun. It was just a prop. It was a prop gun on his hip, and I was like, "That's not even a real gun." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Wow, that's interesting." So he was guarding like a resort, right? A resort.
No.
And then he was out there and I was like, oh, what you got there? Because I like,
Yeah,
you know,
no.
and it was a fake
No.
home that he was.
Part of why that country is really messed up is because there is no army since I believe 1940. No
Really?
military, no army. Yeah. So a lot of people are really proud of it, but at the same time, I think that's part of why the culture is so messed up as well.
But they have cops, right? Yeah, I've seen the cops.
Yeah, but you just see this like random people. Like, man, when I came here to New York City to run the New York City Marathon and I witnessed the NYPD cops compared to the Costa Rican cops, I was like, damn,
Yeah, bro. Like I
that's
remember,
another level.
I remember in Tamarindo, we were late at night, and this guy's like cutting off this cop, like he's on his
Yes.
motorcycle, and then just like cuts off the cop, and we're just
Yes.
laughing. Like I'm
It's
like,
like
whoa,
no
you don't do that.
respect.
Yeah, don't do that in
Yeah.
America, man. You get pulled over and get a
No.
big ticket, maybe go to jail, and
Yep.
they have some teeth, you know. And so it's in some aspects, it's you know, I can see how it's good, but I could also see I'm grateful that we have, you know, the system that we do. I mean, it is taken advantage of sometimes. There are some bad apples, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that's kind of the nature, just like we were talking about nature of human being. That's the nature of societies and large groups of people,
Yep.
right? And we used to, back in England, there was a shire. And once a village has reached a certain limit, then they called it a shire. And then
Okay.
once the shire, then they needed to have a shire eef, and that's where the word sheriff comes from, shire.
Oh, interesting.
Shire eef. And so once we've reached a certain number of people, there is a third party aspect of conflict management or conflict mitigation that needs to happen. And as more and more people, then we have the sheriffs and we have the city cops and we have different aspects of the law enforcement that comes in and have different roles that they play to keep people safe, essentially, right? To protect property, right? That's a huge aspect of it, right? People encroaching on your property, whether it be land, whether it be items that you own, things like that, and then personal safety, and then we also have ways of private security, but we also have keyword is self defense, right? And so that's the learning of the martial arts, the learning of how to protect yourself using that, but also that's why we have the right to bear arms in America, and I'm sure thankful that we do.
Yep, me too. I agree. America.
So good human, better dogs. So what made you decide on that name? So you basically, so you read Calvin's book, you've got control of your dog, you have been told like, look, you should be this dog trainer. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to be a dog trainer. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Right. And so you quit your job as a pastry chef.
As a nutritionist. The pastry chef was after COVID, but I had my own business going, and I was still like baking stuff. You'll see that's a pinch of Latina. That's how I started.
Okay, that's your
that's
Instagram.
where I was like, yeah, that's the one for. I have many Instagrams. Don't even get me started. That's the one for cooking and stuff, right?
Pinch of Latina.
I know.
Little pinch.
So I put a pause on that because it was taking a lot of time. Everyone was just enjoying all the goods. But then I said, no, I actually want to. When people used to ask me, like, do you want to open a restaurant? Eventually, I was like, hell no. So I was like, have you ever worked at a restaurant? Like, no, I don't want. No, I hate the kitchen like that. Yeah, that's all the creations. Oh, man. It makes me hungry just to see it.
Well, that's what I was telling you when we were messaging back and forth. I'm like, dude, your page is making me hungry. Like this one right here, man, that looks so good.
Yeah.
Beef chuck tender, nice. With sushi rice, nice.
Yep.
And then you do the beef chuck. How did you tenderize the beef on that one?
Which one?
The chuck.
The beef chuck. I think chuck, we just grilled it, and we grilled it for a long time.
Yeah, low and slow, baby. Low and slow on the chuck.
Yep.
Looks like
and if you go the very, very, very bottom, like
Oh
you'll
wait, hold on.
see
Let me
this.
see the sticky rice with the mango. Oh my gosh. Listen. What you're doing to me over here.
This is Pavlov right now.
Right. I'm Pablo. You're ringing my bell over here. We got some prosciutto. Oh
Yeah.
man, where did you want me to go down?
If
Or
you go down, like down, you're
okay,
gonna see
look at all
more
this. Look
like,
at those rib eyes. Oh my gosh. Hold
I
on, I gotta stop
know,
here for a
big
second.
carnivore.
Nice big old marbling there. Okay, keep
And a
going.
lot of those are also focused on nutrition and how to like eat properly,
Okay.
which also made me kind of like want to go in that same path with the dogs, right?
I see these a lot. Oh, these are acai. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Acai, yes.
Yeah, the
And those are
acai
made with,
bowls.
yeah, those are made with the Ninja Creamy and it's really good.
Oh man, and the Fresno peppers with the
Yeah.
golden potato hat. Yeah, dude.
And then if you see
Sorry, I keep on
in the,
stopping. Things
no,
catch
you're
my
good. I
eye
love it.
right here.
I'm enjoying my food too.
Look at this, you guys.
Oh,
Oh
that was
my goodness.
amazing.
I bet. What
And
is
that's
this here?
focused egg white frittata, quesadilla, and black
With the
truffle sauce
bluefin.
with
Okay.
French cod, bluefin toro. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are like more focused on like high protein and healthy meals, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going down here. Going down, high protein. Forget about it, man. Yeah, you've been
Oh
doing this
my
for a
God.
while, dude. Look at this.
Yeah, there's a lot. So then I used to like art and like paint and decorate cakes and stuff like that. Dude, there's a lot. That's so funny.
Oh, it's so good. Like I'm dying over here. Oh, I love that Japanese barbecue sauce, by the way.
Yes, amazing.
I'm Pavlov over here still.
I know.
I just
Some
made a nice
people,
shrimp Caesar with Cajun shrimp right before we got on here. I made that
ooh,
with wild caught Argentinian shrimp too. I like the wild caught shrimp. I don't like what I've been noticing with the shrimp is they do with the farm raised shrimp. They put up too many antibiotics and different things in the farm
yeah,
raised water. So I'm
yep,
always looking for wild caught everything.
wild caught. Yeah,
You know.
100%.
Dang man, look at we're still going, you guys. Oh, look, I think we're going to no. Every time I hit the bottom of
So
the page,
I used to sell this half a pound cookies. So
okay.
half a pound chocolate chip cookies, and those were a hit.
The pico de gallo. Mm.
Oh, banana cinnamon rolls, those were a hit as
I
well.
love the sous vide too. I have a sous vide here.
Yeah.
I have a smoker, a sous vide, a griddle.
Oh my God, we can have a great time cooking.
Yeah, we're going to be cooking. And just like with Action, when I was talking about Action with you, that's all we do is we go to Whole Foods, we grab, usually a couple $1,000s worth of food and then just cook for everybody, man. Just
that's
barbecue.
Like the best. That's the best way to just hang out with friends. Good food.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I cooked for in my first gold school. I did a carbonara. I know Teresa tried it. Joseph too. Michael. And then for the second gold school, it was pretty cool with Heather and Ellie and Owen. We were basically eating steak or just salmon with butter.
Just simplicity.
It was like a really cool family dynamic.
Is there anything you said keep going down, but dang dude, look out there we go. That's what we're we'll bring it back to dogs.
Like that was like the pastry days, right?
Uh-huh.
And then there's also the Canine Nutrition website or Instagram, and that's also more like focus on dog nutrition and what we do and like the things that I recommend. Because then with canine nutrition, there's a lot of parameters and things that you learn that you should do with dogs, but just like in human nutrition, I think you cannot just generalize and say A, B, and C applies for every single dog, right? You can have percentages, you can have like certain types of food that you want to recommend and stuff. Like you can add bone, you can do this, but not every single dog is going to react the same to every single diet. So what I found best is type of like applying high protein diets. And you can even cook your own meals or not, but man, what I feed my dogs is the same things that I eat.
Yeah.
And ask me if I follow like a pattern. No, I just do, like, for example, one of the last things that I cook for them is like egg whites, raw chicken, turmeric, cinnamon, Greek yogurt, kefir, and some cabbage. And then when I get them to get blood tests and stuff, man, their blood tests are perfect. So I was like, okay, that's a testament that it's perfect, you know, they're doing great.
Well, and that reminds me here. I got to shout out my buddy, Dr. Ravi. Have you heard of this stuff?
No, what is it?
So this is an additive that you could put. It's a powder that you put in the food, right? And it's green-lipped mussel powder, sea cucumber powder, methyl sulfonol MSM, right?
Yeah,
Ascorbic
perfect.
acid, creatine, and high molecular weight, hyaluron or whatever. But this
Hyaluronic.
stuff is amazing. And guess what?
I'll check it out.
They make it for people too. So same exact
Oh,
thing that the
damn.
dog
Yeah.
is now a Zeus, where it's these pills.
Yeah.
I take one every single day, you guys. And then he also has, because he's from India, right? And he has a Ayu rub, which is like a tiger balm for
wow.
that you can actually rub onto the joints. And then he also makes the exact same formulation for dogs too. And it has this applicator that you can put on the joints of the dogs, right? And these, I have some that are open. But I'll put up a link, activepower.com, you guys. And I'm not paid anything. I did get free samples of this stuff, but I'm not paid to advertise it. But this stuff is legit. I highly recommend it for your dogs, especially for your older dogs. And just so you guys know that this is legit, I want you guys to see this too. Let me pull this up real quick. He just won, and it hasn't been announced publicly yet. But hold on, let me see if I find this. But this product just won. Ravi, I want to see where he posted this because it's been a few days ago. Right here. Oh, almost. Just bear with me if you guys don't mind, because it's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. It is right here. I got it. Okay. Here it is. He just won this Atlas 2024 Product of the Year for, what is it? It is joint and dog hip and joint Product of the Year, canine joint muscle and total wellness support. And so that'll be announced. I believe they're having the award ceremony in September, but he won it. Out of 2,500 global entrants, Atlas wins, right? And then there's the website right there. Here, actually, I'll copy and
dog
paste
hip
it.
and joint product. I need that. Active Power.
Yeah, and it's something that is, but the crazy thing is that like one of my dogs hates it.
Oh.
Right? One of my dogs, like out of 7 dogs that I have, but this dog hates prime rib too.
Okay.
Right. She's just very fickle. She loves fish. She loves shrimp. She loves like weird things. Right. And so that's the other aspect of this is like there's dietary wants from the dogs, and there's just tastes. There are different tastes that we have, the dogs have, and we need to listen to those as well. And so that's why it's not always just cut and dry on this is exactly what you feed the dog.
Yeah.
There's some dog food that she hates. There's what she loves to do, Laura, is she'll take and guard it. And so even if she won't eat it, she'll sit there.
Oh my God. Want to hear a crazy story? A week ago, my puppy, I gave her, it was my mistake. It was my mistake 100%. I made a horrible mistake. I gave her a bone. And she's a savage. She's a 6-month-old savage. I built her confidence. She's a new NePoPo dog 100%. Like if you saw me walking her on the street, you would be like, damn, she's a terrible dog trainer. But it's like, you don't understand. She's not a pet. She's the really confident bully German Shepherd. I gave her a bone and I said, oh, I'm going to take it from her. I went, I took a 5-minute shower, super quick. I came back, and this wild, crazy puppy was holding the bone in the back of her teeth, hanging in here. I start throwing food, trying to like exchange. No, she keeps eating it while she has the bone in here. I bring some steak, trying to take it out, like doing an exchange. No, she does this. It swings by, goes at the roof of her mouth, and she starts eating the steak, and she swallowed the bone. A bone like this, the size of her leg. And I'm like, I officially have killed my puppy.
So what
I'm
did
like,
you do?
this sucks. You just have to wait. So I had to wait. It says between 8 to 72 hours. And then if you start seeing symptoms of any blockage, then you have to take it to emergencies and have surgery right away. And I'm like,
Yeah,
she's ruined if I have
obstruction.
to. Yep.
Yeah.
And no, she's wild. She's a beast, even in her insides. She digested the whole bone and pooped it out. She got like diarrhea for a couple of days. Man, I was sleeping next to her, just checking on her, trying to see everything because I love her. I've been working with this dog since she was 6 weeks old, and nothing happened to her. So I'm like,
I've had that happen with a bully stick with the dog that ate the whole bully stick, and the dog's like walking sideways because he's just choked it all the way down, and it must have been this long. You know, here's the dog that hates ribeyes.
oh,
Look at this, was back in 2020, so she's like 5 years old. I'm teaching her to unforced force fetch here.
oh, that's tiny.
Oh, my dogs are itty bitty. That's what my saving grace is that my dogs are so little. And that's what I tell my wife is like, we have 7 dogs, but if we weighed them all up, they wouldn't even weigh 1 dog. So
yeah, mine is 6 months and she's already 45 pounds.
Yeah, this one's 9 pounds.
Oh my
God. With full grown. In this video, she's probably
full
like
grown.
Yeah, full grown, 9 pounds. And she's a little turkey, man. This is the one that will take, and then she sits and guards it. And then I just know. Well, sometimes. I mean, there's a whole subset of different. Well, but you always have to worry about the predator, right? Out in the field, I can never leave them out. I can never, ever, never resource guarding should be banned in the video logo. Bow Wow Bill, you're hilarious. He wasn't. Here we go, Kashi, just for you. Please show us again, Bill. That's what it is. And the first thing I do is I'm like, dude, come here. Go and grab it from her. And she's just like, F you, dude. F you. This is what I'm having fun with that shit, man. Like, how dare you? And I'm like, eat it, Pecan. Eat your
Pecan.
That's her name, Pecan. Yeah, she's a nut. But yeah, that's her.
Yeah,
Pecan
my senior,
right
she hates anchovies or like the little fish. I make her bowl beautiful. I plate it like a fine dining plate.
Yeah.
And I put the fish. There's like, oh man, I want to show you this picture. And I put like the little fish, and she eats everything. And then I just eat the little lonely fish at the bottom.
Just sitting there.
She liked the bowl, but she's like, no fish, thank you. I hate that.
I remember one time I went and got my dog, or I didn't get my dogs a cheeseburger, but I went and got a cheeseburger, and I ran into the house for something to come back out, and my dog was like, "Thank you so much for that cheeseburger." And then I look in the back seat, and there's 3 lined pickles, just boom, 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 just lined up quickly on the back seat. I was like, at least you left me a little bit, you know.
Yeah, right. At least you thought of me.
3 pickles, yeah. And he was just like, he's like, dude, you're the best. And I'm like, dang it, man. I bet that was good because I was looking forward to that. That's all you can really do.
Everything. The puppy, she eats everything. Everything. She's just wild. And the senior, she's just like, nah, I don't want that fish.
Yeah, there's some dogs that are just, they worry me sometimes. Like some of them are very fickle. And I was talking with, I was just did a live stream with Michael Carpenter, and I was talking about this dog that came to me, and a lot of pet dogs, right? That they won't eat what they're given. And so then their parents give them something a little better. And then they don't eat that. And then the parents give them a little something better. And then they don't eat that. And then the dog's just like, haha.
I got you.
I just hold out. And I get filet mignon or whatever. And so then I brought the dog here. The dog said, I'm not going to eat that. And then I said, okay, all you 7 dogs, come on over and eat it right in front of her.
Yep.
And then the dog, next time I laid it in front of her, she's just like, I better eat that, or all these dogs around me. Now it's competition.
Competition. Yeah.
Just got to make sure that you don't have any dogs that are very possessive, but I trust all my dogs. I know that they better not pull that shit with me, but I mean, they'll still every once in a while get something of value and redirect on the other dog, trying to keep what they have. But that's just the way it is. And the fear of loss, right? The fear of like, the rules don't play the same here in this environment, and dogs are associative thinkers, so they're going to react based on their environment and who they're with, not mom and dad. I'm not going to spoil your dog. I'm not like, this is what you're getting, and if you don't eat, then restaurant closes, and I just threw it out to the bums.
Rules of nature. Yeah,
that's right. Rules of nature. They're going to be. And my dogs are like, hell yeah, we'll eat that. Like a little extra for tonight, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That's fun. It's nice when you teach those little concepts to people too, right? How it like blows their mind. Or when you teach them how to even play with their dog.
And it's like, dude, that's, and they're like, I can't believe that I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say, that's why you pay me the big bucks. That's why.
Right.
That's why you brought me for solutions. And sometimes the solution is pretty simple, but it's also because I've experienced different aspects of this that I can show you the advantages and disadvantages of doing things the way that you're doing them. And at the end of the day, like, it boils down to love. They love this dog. It's just that they love it a little bit
in a human way.
Right. In a human way, or like, in like what we were talking about with Calvin's book, not through the lens of survival and comfort, but through the lens of a human child, right? Or not through the lens.
Most of the times to fulfill their own emotional gaps, right? And I tell this to people, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's gonna sound really raw, but you are just fulfilling your emotional gap and need with this dog, and you're doing a disservice to the dog because you're being selfish. You're not thinking about your dog, you're thinking about yourself.
That's what I say too. And self-indulgences, right? And not only that, but I warn my clients too. I'm like, okay, you're not going to like what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that kind of positions it, right?
They get it. Sometimes, one time I had this lady, she has a really anxious German Shepherd. And I told her, I was like, and he has a lot of separation anxiety. He's like the typical shepherd that's like built for sport, that has a pet owner, and he's like always crying and pushy because he wants his things now. And he has gotten his way so many times, right? And he's a big, handsome guy, but he acts like a baby. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, you're fulfilling your emotional gaps with this guy, and it's so unfair. And she's like, you know what? You're right. I had a really bad breakup, and I just cried with him everything. I just used him as my little. I was like, yeah, it is not. He's not for that. He's a dog. He's not your towel for you to just dry your tears on, right?
Well, and I owe them that because they're paying me to give them the truth. They're paying me to assess the situation that they're in. And usually it's because of, the relationships off in the ditch, or there's just some aspect of their dog's behavior that they really need help with understanding and fixing.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, let's talk about how we got here first. And you're not going to like what I'm going to tell you, but I owe it to you to tell you the truth.
Yep. There's this other dog. I want to hear your opinion, and if someone else can add to that, because we're dealing with this dog currently. And this dog has a really curious behavior. He walks backwards whenever he's on wood. Whenever he's stepping on wood, he just walks backwards. And he cannot,
like hardwood floors, or
yes,
okay,
hardwood floors. But my first response was like, is he walking backwards because he's always staring at the door? And the lady said, interesting. I think it is. But sometimes at her boyfriend's house, she doesn't stand at the door. he doesn't face at the door, but every time he's on hardwood surfaces, he only walks backwards.
I
And he's
wish you
just,
had a video of it.
man, I'm gonna record him. I have a session with him soon. I'll record it. It's really interesting. And she
Yeah,
laughed.
anybody. Oh shit! I have a delivery. I think somebody just pulled up in a big van. I think it's a delivery, whatever. But I'm gonna have to pull out. Pew pew.
Pew pew. You don't know where you're at?
Just yeah. Do you know where you're at? Do you know who I am?
I'm pew pew.
I'm Bow
with
Wow.
my
Pew
Bow Wows.
pew. I'm.
You know what, Joey? No, that was Kashi that said that. Joey Baker has a really fun video. Oh my God. And Michael Bishop's first goal school, we're all cracking up with this video. Joey recorded his girlfriend without her knowing that he was recording
Nice,
her.
Joey.
And he was training her. He was telling her something like how she needs to be like with the dog, right? So
Pew, pew, pew.
he recorded her doing grr, 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 and she doesn't know that she's being recorded. She's with the sleeve, like trying to act like tough against the dog. Oh my God, you have to search for that video. It's hilarious.
Grr. Well, and speaking of videos, like if you're professional or if you're a dog, like needing help with your dog, the videos are so handy. And I do Zoom lessons where I teach people. Do you know what? I've mostly been doing Zoom lessons where I teach and talk to dog trainers.
Delivery.
Yep, I think so. Hold on one second. I'm going to make sure it's not somebody at the door.
Go ahead.
I'll be right back. Please hold.
Okay. Commercial. It's a commercial.
Okay, yep, delivery. Hey. Hold on, let me just shut the door. Hey, you guys, chill out. I got it. That's that pity that I'm working with right now, too. And notice how I'm not correcting it. I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. Cue commercial break. This live stream is brought to you by Atlas. No. Videos like and what I was saying is that I've been helping dog trainers, and I love doing it. So shoot a video of that, and I would love to see it, and I would definitely give you a Zoom link, and then we'll hop on a Zoom, and I love the Zoom because I can like pinpoint, I can like scroll through the behavior and pinpoint exactly what I'm talking about, and it's pretty cool, man. So long story short is videotape the behavior, videotape your dogs, that anything that is peculiar that you need help with, capture it on video.
I'll take you on that. I'm not afraid.
Okay, good. I know you're not afraid.
Bart said in the Silver School, he said something really cool. He's like, I love female dog trainers. I absolutely love female dog trainers because they're not afraid of asking. They're not afraid of saying like, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, I'm having a problem with here. I need help. As opposed to, he said, most of the male dog trainers are just full of ego and they won't ask. And they'll be like, no, I know it all. I'm not going to ask you for that. I'd rather just Google and search and find my solution myself, right?
Yep.
I don't know how it is.
Well, women, I mean,
ask a lot.
In utero, it's been like I study the brain, and there's different aspects of the human brain, male and female. There are definitely differences between man and woman, right? And so this whole gender ideology thing is interesting to me, but there's in utero, like at the time that the communication center is forming in the brain, the male brain is washed in a bath of testosterone, and it kind of stunts that communication center. So where women have like an 8-lane highway of communication, men have a dirt road.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so men, the first thing that we want to do is solve things. And women just want to be heard a lot of times. They want to communicate to be heard. And I wonder if I have this. I learned this from this lady about the art of communication, the art of negotiation in this business seminar. and I went and bought her dang DVD because it was so good. And that's where I learned this stuff from. And on my way home, my wife came and picked me up from the airport, and I was like, I'm going to test this stuff out. And I was like, how is everything? And she was just like talking to me. And instead of wanting to solve it and provide her solutions, it's like, oh, well, here's what you need to do here. Here's what you need to do here. I just repeated back to her exactly what she said. And it was like the floodgates were released. She just started going like off. Like, I know, right? I was like sitting there like bewildered, like, oh my gosh, this stuff works. This stuff works. Like, she just wanted to be heard. She doesn't want me to fix it. Yes. She just wants to know that I listen to her, and that I'm picking up basically what she's throwing down. And so I can see what Bart was saying about, hey, women want to talk about this. They want to express when they need help. And sometimes it's not just so we can provide a solution, but just so they can kind of, relate to somebody who sees what they're seeing, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I on the right? Am I hovering over the target, you think?
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
Does. It's interesting. Oh, wait, I need to change my headphones.
Well, do you know what? We've been talking 2 hours. You realize that? Oh, wait, you're muted now. We'll wait for her to come back. Cue commercial break. It's muted because of the switching to the headphones. There, she's back. So now we can do a quality control test of the Bose versus the Apple. So go ahead and talk to me.
Can you hear me properly or not?
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's still fine. I still hear you.
Okay.
It's a little different. So, and I think that we're going to be doing another live stream sometime in the future as well.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun. I mean, I can talk for hours, just like supporting what you just said.
Well, and I think too, like, because I want to get more into this jiu-jitsu stuff. I think that being self-disciplined with self-defense, and also, learning the skill drills like we were talking about with the structured training, and and also I might want to have you and your husband on too.
Oh, that would be fun. He talks. I love how he talks.
Okay. Ask him if you don't mind to maybe do a live stream with us, with you, me, and him.
He's an amazing athlete, and he has coached and made some great champions, like kids champions. He was a really good kid professor, jiu-jitsu kid professor.
Well, and you were talking because when we first started interacting here, that he's also a dog trainer too.
Yep. So we run the business together.
Okay.
So when we run our sessions, it's just like we're running a private class, and it's really cool because we both have our dynamic, and like husband and wife, like you understand your wife, and just with the look, you know what you're doing, and we just start vibing, and it's really cool because then the flow of the session, it's so easy going.
Okay.
It's really cool. One time we had this session with a kid that we're teaching boundaries, the kid with the pit bull, and the kid is learning how to train the pit bull and how to like earn the pit bull's trust and everything, right? And it was really cool. I have a video of that. I have to look for it. And it's just like we just started like pushing it little by little, little by little. And then when we saw that he had it, you get to that endorphin point that we need to keep pushing. And the kid was kind of like stressed, and you see him, he's just a child, and this kid is dealing with clicker, raw feeding chicken, disgusting, like the leash is full of chicken, and he's like, his face is full of raw chicken, everything. He's like training this dog, and the dog engagement is just amazing. It's just like clicker, leash handling skills, and just feeding and walking with the dog and stopping and luring it to great position. And this is just an 8-year-old kid. And I think a lot of this happened because we both have experience with martial arts, problem solving, but also we're able to communicate and coach.
Yeah,
so
that's key.
you're gonna see that in him, and I think it's a really cool aspect of why I love running the business with him. We're growing little by little. Eventually, I want to like grow more. I love to work. But yeah, I want you to see it.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to let's finish on this. So why founder or why Good Human Better Dogs? Why did you pick that name?
Because it's not about the dog. That's what we tell people. It's not about the dog. It's mostly about you. You are responsible for owning this creature, this animal. And if you're a good person, if you're a good human, it's going to reflect on your dog. Now, the fact that you're a good human, it means that you're going to make an effort to try to understand this different species.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not going to just try to get things out of control and out of force, but you're going to try to have mutual understanding. And that's what we say. It's about the human. We coach humans. We train the human so they can have a better dog. And they all say it. Like they're like, "Oh, the problem is me." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is you."
I do know what I hear whenever I hear that. I'm like, tell me more about that.
Yeah,
Like
right.
when they say, "Oh, the problem's me," I'm like, "Oh, tell me more."
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Let's unfold that. Let's expand that a little bit more because,
Yeah,
and then
tell
they
me
start
your inner
laughing,
thoughts.
right? And it's like,
Yeah,
yes, that is the problem. It's like, look,
yeah,
you've had a total misconception of this
yeah.
relationship, of this dog, how they process the world, how you perceive the the way that you two should interact with each other in a healthy manner. And
Hmm.
you touch the dog too much, you engage with the dog too much, you maybe hold the dog too much, you love them like a child when they need to be have the space to experience and be in the human world.
Yeah,
And
you're
so
fulfilling your emotional gap. That's what
yep,
I tell them. Yeah.
you're fulfilling your emotional gap and dumping the leftovers on the dog.
Yeah, right. Poor dogs, man. Sometimes I said, oh, most people shouldn't have a dog. Or if they have it, they should just learn and try to make an effort. Like it should be a skill that people should learn in school, you know?
Yeah, I mean there is a big like self-development course if you truly open yourself up to be better and a better steward of the
Hmm.
animal, right? Where it's, I tell people I'm like an attorney for the dog. I represent their best interests. You know, that's what
Yes,
you
that's a
pay
cool
me,
concept.
right? And so you can tell me anything. You can present your case any way you would like. But at the end of the day, my client, the dog, I know you're the
Yes,
human part of it, and you're paying me, but you're paying me to better this
their
relationship.
situation.
Right. And so I
Yeah.
bring in the dog aspect because it is cross species, it is interspecies communication that we're doing. And
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm a human being, you're a human being, and who we work with are the human beings. But there's some aspect of them that have to be good in order to want to better their experience with this dog because it, like I was saying, it is all boils down to love. It's just
Yeah.
misunderstood or misplaced.
It's a different I always say it is like a different love language. You know how we have love language,
Yes.
right, between humans?
Yeah.
So you need to learn the love language with dogs.
Yeah, and every dog's love language is different, right? Physical touch,
Hmm.
time. Or here, I'm going to go to Amazon and now post up the love language. Gary, who is it? Who writes the love language book?
It's funny that you said that lawyer concept. I like that. I said I'm your dog
Gary
therapist.
Chapman. Yeah, a
Yes.
lawyer. I mean, I'm your therapist in a way till I can't be, and then you really need a professional.
Yeah, right.
Right? And sometimes it's like, whoa, we got there really quick. You need a professional. This one is way above my pay grade.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
spicy.
licensed, right, to do
Give you
that.
advice
Talk about
on
this
that.
part about that, but
Yeah. No, I say
um,
I'm your dog therapist.
yeah, I'm your dog therapist, and but yeah, I tell them I represent their dog, and a lot of my clients are attorneys, right? And so then they're like, okay, cool, I get what you're
I get
throwing
it.
down, right?
Hmm.
Because they really keep the interest of their client at the forefront. So I
Yeah.
just put up a link to the love languages in human beings. And so think about this. If you guys haven't read this book, the five love languages are physical touch. Hold on, let me sit there right there. quality time, words of affection. Acts of service, and then gifts, right? Now I have to get it right. So 5 love languages here. What are the 5 love languages? Here, let's see here. Let's just see if we got it. Okay, here we go. Words of affirmation. This involves using words to express love, appreciation, and encouragement. And some dogs are like that, man. Some dogs are like, I just look at them and I'm like, you're awesome. I love you. And they're just like, oh I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Some dogs, acts of service, doing practical things to ease your partner's workload and make their life easier. So then we have our service dogs, but also our working dogs, right? Quality time. Let me close this out. Quality time, just being there with your dog, right? And just being present, or your partner. And present, not on our devices, not on,
How many people you've noticed lately? And where I live, I think it's a challenging scenario, but I like it. I like that it's a challenge. How many people you've seen lately I talk like maybe a year, that they walk their dogs and they're just so fixated on their phones?
Yeah, a lot. Or at dog parks or whatever, or engaged with somebody else, or right, or they're just kind of checked out. Yeah, or a lot.
What they're looking at is just social media. It's like I'm just looking at somebody else's life while I'm like having this creature that's alive next to me, and I don't even care what they're doing.
Yeah, the endless scroll. They're scrolling endlessly, and I'm guilty of it too. I've been on, and I'm starting to realize.
You know what I did? I think it's a cool thing. On my personal Instagram, I muted every single account possible, and I just left dog training accounts that I like and that they give me educational material. So whenever I go on Instagram, I'm just forced to learn.
Well, and there's also like, and Caitlin says, acts of service is 100% mine. I like gifts and I like physical touch. Those are my love languages: physical touch and gifts. Well, not always, but it's in that though, gifts and physical touch in that order, because sometimes I can like, don't freaking touch me.
Yeah, right. I'm like
right.
that.
Physical touch, using contact like hugging, kissing, holding hands, and express love. Like physical touch, especially for human beings, does not always have to be like men would think was like a sexual thing or something like that. It's just like just a hand on the shoulder, or reaching out, holding a hand, or giving a real, what we call non-sexual hug for men.
Yeah, right.
It's like just a really good hug, right? And receiving gifts, giving thoughtful, meaningful gifts, show your love and appreciation. And that's like treats for our dogs, right? Or
a bone that she will swallow.
Yeah, a bone that she will swallow and give you a heart attack, right? She's like, man, I want you to feel your heart pounding hard, Mom.
Well, you've been frustrated for 72 hours.
Yeah, I want you to pine over me. I want to sleep next to you and diarrhea all over the place, Mom.
You know why I believe that she was able to digest it too? Because her pH in her gut and her digestive system is the proper pH for a dog to have. It's acidic. It's battery acidic. Because I've been feeding her raw since she's 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably what saved her.
pH level 1. I want to see if I'm right.
Yeah, I think 1.5 battery acid, really similar to battery acid.
1.5 pH scale. No, yeah, it's very acidic. Yep, that battery acid. Is pH acidic or base or acidic? Yep, 0 to 7. So 1 is a very, very, very acidic.
Yep.
Very cool, man.
Imagine a bone going in there. It's like
bubbling away. She's like me, Bert.
Topo Chico, Topo Bone.
Yeah, Topo Bono. Bono Chico. This episode brought to you by
Topo
Bono
Chico,
Chico.
sponsored Bow Wow.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, that
Topo
would be great.
Chico. I will totally accept your sponsorship. And this
That'd be
is not sponsored or free samples, but I'll do just free samples of Topo Chico.
That'd be amazing.
Well, dude, how do people find you, Laura? And what's the best way of getting a hold of you? And since you're in the San Diego area, that's what area you service as far as their dogs that you take?
Yes, San Diego,
Okay.
California. I also do online consultations.
Here, I'm with you. West. This is what we do in America. West Side. We're in the West Side. I'm in Seattle. I'm north, but I'm still West Side. Look, I can't even do. My wife's like, you can't do that with your fingers. I'm like, no, I got chubby fingers. I got to do it myself. But look, once I do it, I mean it.
Broke
West
this
Side.
one training.
You did? Oh, I've broken. Yep. Look at my.
Oh,
So many scars. So many. And if people can you
Look
see the
at it.
scars on my thumb at all? Oh wait, hold on. Let me see.
mm.
Maybe. I don't know. Here.
Yes, I see it. I see it. I see it. I saw it. Yes.
Right down. Boot right here. Right. It's so funny. It's like backwards. Dawn.
just broke
That's my
it.
wife. Dawn, here. This one's for you. West Side. Wait for this one, Dawn. Ready? Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 West Side.
West Side. I'm hard.
Yeah, so
I'm a gangster.
yeah, you are. Watch out. Watch out. Bow wow. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, Bill.
You should
Oh,
change
God,
it.
please stop. She says. That's what I strive to do. All right. So what's your website? What's
website is goodhumanbetterdogs.com.
I could have
and
guessed
then,
that one.
Right. Instagram too. I have Laura, the Canine Nutritionist. I post some advice there on nutrition and stuff.
Oh, I like your website here. Cool. I like your little logo
Thank
too,
you.
man. Next time you get shirts
I
made,
built
I'm
it.
an extra large, just so you know.
Oh man, we have some cool shirts coming in.
Yeah, XL, and Dawn's like small or extra small. Just
Do you remember the invisible dog leash?
Caesars? No.
It was like an invisible dog leash. It's just like people that were walking, they were acting like they were walking dogs, and it was like an invisible dog leash. So
Oh yeah,
you don't have a dog.
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah.
the new shirts have some of that. I'll send you a picture today because we're getting it today. So if you like it, I'll send you one.
Oh, send me too. Send me one for Dawn too. So
Yeah, I'll send you
we'll
two.
message. But here, just so people can see that might not know what invisible dog leash is. It's a gag thing with the leash on the end. Or I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to get one of those, man. And take it to my.
It's like this
My-
guy is crazy. What is he walking?
I'll be like, sit. Sit. Dang it, sit.
And then you give it a treat, and the treat falls.
Yeah, it falls. Be like, good dog.
And
Yeah.
you play with it.
I play with it. Be like, oh, and then have him bite my leg.
Oh, stop!
Okay.
Stop!
Stop it.
How
Out.
do you do it? Stop!
Out.
I should do that. People will be like, "Oh man, she's officially crazy."
I know.
It's when they see me playing with my puppy outside and just doing all this confidence and like, "Ooh, you're so strong!"
I know.
Oh, I'm like,
Ah.
They're like, people just. I'm like, they're just probably watching a show. She's like jumping on me. I'm like, "Ooh, ooh, you're so strong."
Dama says,
hilarious.
very well, Laura. then-
That's my mom.
Hey, Mom. Is she
Look
down
at
in
the
Costa?
Frenchie. Yeah, she's a chef. She's in Costa Rica.
Hola. Hola, ¿cómo estás ustedes? That's about all I know. Do you know what's
Yeah, well,
crazy
Spanish.
is that the Spanish in Costa Rica is different than the Spanish in Mexico.
100%. That's why we get offended when they tell us, like, "Oh, you speak Spanish? Are you Mexican?" And I'm like, "No."
Well, it's so
not.
like what? How would I explain it? Like in the guy in the my shuttle driver is like, yeah, Mexico is way.
Wey, pinche vato,
older-
güey, vate,
yeah,
cabrón.
way.
Ale,
Yeah.
ándale, güey. And when we speak, cuando yo hablo español, hablo así, suena muy tranquilo. When I speak Spanish, it sounds like really mellow, everything comes together. Cuando yo hablo
Pura
español,
vida.
puedo hablar así, pura vida. Ajá.
That's right.
Same as Portuguese. I speak Portuguese. So if there's anyone that needs like Portuguese or Spanish services, I also work with Portuguese and Spanish language.
Beautiful.
As
Well,
well.
then, you know what? Good to know, because now I am going to add Spanish and Portuguese onto my subtitles for your videos on
Oh,
YouTube.
wow. That's
So
cool.
then,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
we can send them to any of your clients for that. And then, yeah, I look forward to kicking it with you, and tell your mom, hey, Mom, I'm going to be down in Costa in October. I don't think I'll be on. They live on the east side, right?
No, they live in near the mountain. So
Okay.
Cartago, it's like
Okay.
near a volcano. I used to live like 20 minutes away from a volcano. It was really cool. And coffee plantations like behind my house and stuff.
Yeah, I love the coffee down there too.
Yes, the best.
You are pure vida. Damn right, or dang right I am. Sorry, Mom. I almost swore to Mom. But yeah, I am pure vida. I love Costa Rica. Me gusta mi amor. No, that's what
Me gusta mucho Costa Rica.
yeah, me gusta mucho Costa Rica.
Yeah, you just
Nosotros
say,
aquí vamos a poquito español.
hablamos un poquito de español.
Yeah. Okay, you can help me with my Spanish too. That's what Heather was saying. She could come up and help us with our Spanish. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Heather's Spanish is really good.
Is it? Oh, well, she's down in I don't know where she's at, in not Bermuda, but
Barbados.
Barbados. Yep.
Yeah, her Spanish is really good.
Yeah. Well, mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto.
And nice to meet you, Mom. What is that? Mucho gusto? How do I say nice to meet you?
Gusto en conocerte.
Dude, so off.
So advanced. It's like, no. We need the base of the pyramid first.
How do you say it again?
Gusto en conocerte.
Gusto en conocerte.
Yeah,
Dama.
good. Yes,
Dama.
you got it. Yeah, hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I was going to go to the volcano, and then we saw the little thing that they were flying us. They were going to have us fly in this thing, and I thought it was a helicopter. It's not a helicopter. You know what I'm talking about?
Avioneta.
Ayuneta? Good to meet you. What is Ayuneta? But I was like, dude, I'm not flying on that thing.
That's
There's
the thing that I flew on to jump from skydiving in Costa Rica. It's like this thing that seems like it's gonna fall apart, and you're like, pa, 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 pa,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
going,
no,
you're
thank
like,
you.
damn.
Yeah,
At
I'm
least
like,
I have
no.
a parachute on me.
And then we went to go watch the turtles. The
Yeah.
turtles were running in October. That's why I like the rainy season, actually, because it's so hot in March in the summertime. But
Yep.
and then it started raining and washed out the road, and so we didn't make it. But the big traffic jam for a long time.
Yeah.
But I love
roads.
Costa Rica. And then the howler monkeys. Dawn was down there in Costa Rica with me, and we saw the howler. And then she would. Do you know what she said? She's like, the
What?
howler monkeys. They need to start a metal band because they sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
When
Do that
you-
again. Hold on 1 second. Wait. Do it again.
I'm like, I feel like Kashi when he was asking you to do like, we can do a band like that. The
Totally.
and then the
We'll call it the howling resource garters. The howling garters.
Yeah, it's cool because you wake up every morning and what wakes you up is the monkeys, but that's more like on the beach side.
Yeah. Yeah, they were crazy. I mean, and they were eating the whole tree too, man.
Yep.
You know?
My cousin lives in what we call the cloud forest.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
Monteverde, and it's like the perfect weather conditions for the forest. It's really cool. It's the mountains. You have snakes. You have a lot of nature variety.
I have not seen a snake yet, and I don't want to.
Oh, I saw a viper. We saw many.
I want to find this. All right. Well, here, I'm going to see if I can find this. I don't think I can. I got so many videos on my. Oh wait, yes, I can. Right.
Yes.
Chowing down on the monkey or on the tree, you guys.
Oh
that's,
man,
I don't
it's
even,
so cool. It's cool to travel like with the dollar to Costa
there it
Rica,
is.
you
See
know.
his face run coming out there, just stuffing his face with the tree. That's right
I
outside
love
our
it.
villa that we had, you know.
Wait, I
Yeah.
want to show you something before you leave.
Okay. And then here is, yeah, this is what I miss, man. Look at this. This is the sunsets and
So if you go to
Can't believe
Monteverde,
that.
you can see the Pacific and the West Coast. You can see both coasts.
East Coast, right? Pacific and the Caribbean
Yep,
and the Pacific. Yeah.
yep. So this is kind of like I just like it. I showed this to Theresa when I met her, and she was fascinated by it. Look, this is kind of like the Michelin star things that we're doing. I was like, I call it the five paw. This is one. Oh shoot, where's the camera?
Ooh. Oh, that's for the dogs. Here, I'll put you on solo here.
Yes.
Oh, wow, look at that.
And then there's another one
That's making
here.
me hungry.
Look at this, how cool.
Yeah, you do these on your Instagram?
This is on Laura the Canine Nutritionist.
Okay.
Some of those are just like I share some ideas and they're pretty easy to
Awesome,
make.
man.
They're fun.
Yeah, I went to a church in Costa Rica too. Went to the Catholic church down there.
I grew up Catholic for years. Catholic school, Catholic everything. It's a big Catholic country.
Yeah, like 65% Catholic, 35% Protestant, and then some Mormons down there too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very interesting. All right, well, let's sign off. Let's say goodbye to everybody here, and then I'll stay on so I can say goodbye to you in the studio. Okay, Laura?
Pew pew. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Brought to you West Side and Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. Not sponsored, but hopefully yes.
Hopefully you get it. We'll see. You never know. And then brought to you also by the Invisible Dog.
Oh, I'm gonna buy one of those. That's fun.
I know we need to. Bye, Caitlin. Thank you for being here.
Bye, Caitlin.
Yeah,
You know I know
awesome.
Caitlin.
You do? I don't know her. Do I?
Yeah,
I
we
don't think
met together. We met. We used to like we had like a brief encounter working dogs together. It was
Oh,
fun.
cool.
Caitlin is cool. She's cool. I like her.
I like her dog. I like her too, but I like her dog. Look at that. That's not good looking.
I know.
Good looking. Is that the chocolate lab?
Yeah, a lab. It's her lab.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, make sure you guys are subscribing on my YouTube and go to X because now I have to pay to stream these on X. And if you like what I do, consider support me on Patreon. Link is in the comments up above or down below, wherever you're watching this. And say goodbye to everybody here. Bye, everybody. Bye, Mom. Donna.
Mama Dama.